Hello, and welcome to this special edition dedicated to the topic of COVID-19 and our community responses to the pandemic. My name is Carol Merton, and I wish to extend a sincere thank you to our Medical Officer of Health, the Public Health Unit staff, our community service providers and support agencies, our first responders, our hospitals, retirement homes, and long-term care facilities, and so many others for their prompt action and ongoing efforts to keep our community safe. We are all together in this exceptional and ever-changing situation. We are all neighbors doing our best to care and support each other. We will be providing you with current information from our community agencies and elected officials. However, this information may change rapidly. We encourage you to use any technology that you may have so that you can access the Public Health greybruce.on.ca website, listen to the radio, and of course tune into Rogers TV for updated information. Today I am pleased to welcome as a guest Deepha Romuwalt, who is an owner and a physiotherapist who practices at Proactive Physio Plus in Owen Sound. Deepha, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're going to be talking to us about respiration and resilience, which R&R, which I think is an absolutely excellent topic. Respiration meaning breathing, and resilience meaning?
It's a progressive adaptation technique that we need to have, especially when somebody is going through crisis. Now, somebody is all of us.
Yes, all of us.
Yes.
So, Deepha, can you tell us a little bit about your clinic first and how long you've been doing what you do, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to talk us through the topic.
Sure, definitely. Thank you for having me, Carol. It's
my pleasure.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us to reach out, because it's not just for our own clinic clients. Like, I'm thinking about the vulnerable sector. As physios, we definitely want to reach out to the public, because public education is very, very important, right? So it's not just pertaining, and I'm so glad when you gave that call, I thought, wow, it's a wonderful opportunity, and thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so we've been serving this area. I came to this area in 2015.
Yes.
2005 I came to Canada, actually. So since then, I started the clinic in 2015. And we have our office in Owen Sound, which is Proactive Physio Plus, very multidisciplinary. We have physiotherapy, occupational therapy, yoga therapy. We have a naturopath doctor, Dr. Jeremy Toman is with us.
Yes.
And we have an osteopath, Scott Morrison, and we have Shannon Crow is our yoga therapist. And we also have Laura, who's a podiatrist as well. So that's the team over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom, pretty much.
Yeah.
And last year we were able to expand our location to Sauble Beach Physiotherapy. So right now we are 3 providers over there, so 3 physios over there. So we are kind of managing both the clinics locations, and we're very happy to serve in both locations.
So even though the clinic is called Proactive Physio Plus, you actually do a lot more than physio.
Yes. Yes.
And the clients you see?
It's my caseload is basically neurological and pelvic health. So neurological meaning anyone with stroke, or if they had suffered a spinal cord injury, or Parkinson's, or with MS, any people with brain or spinal cord injury, I've been seeing them, and that has been my passion ever since I started working as a therapist. Even that is since 2000. Yeah. So since that's been a passion, I'm just continuing that passion. Yeah. And pelvic health kind of came alongside since 2011, and we've been helping people with prenatal and postnatal health, meaning before birth and after birth, and people with chronic pelvic pain, and also with prolapse and incontinence, both male and female. And right now Fortunately, unfortunately, I would say even kids are being added to it. But
Wow.
people having the pelvic pain issues, we really don't want them to have it. But I'm really glad that parents are taking steps to take care of it right when they are young,
Yes.
instead of them leading into chronic pain later on.
So, in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic, what's happening with your clinic, and
Yes.
where are you?
Yes, as we are following directives as per the local and the regional authorities, like we have really restricted our one-on-one time with people, but we have always kept our doors open for emails. People can contact us through emails, or if they are open for a telephone conversation or a video chat, we are open. All of our providers are very happy to do that for them, and they can reach us through our normal telephone line, our office telephone line, which I think is in the screen, or the website, or they can call us in our email, in our phone numbers as well, which we have provided.
Perfect.
So, but we are there for them to support.
So you're staying connected.
We are staying connected. You're right.
Yeah.
We are there and we are staying connected, and we'll be very happy to help anyone.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So, tell me about respiration and resilience.
Yes. So let's talk about respiration first.
Yeah.
So be it neurological or pelvic health client, I always start with a breathing technique, because breath is pretty much the basis of everything. Just because you and I breathe, we are on top of the ground, otherwise they would put under the ground.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
I choose the top of the ground.
Yes.
And with COVID-19, breathing is a big issue.
The big
right?
issue.
Because it's respiratory.
Exactly, right? So, and right now, let's talk about more the people with immune compromised system, right? And then they are very easily to get the respiratory disease in them.
Name some of those categories.
Some of those categories, the first people that I think of is anyone who have like a cough reflex. This is cough reflex meaning a cough strength. How much amount they cough. If it's very, very poor, fair, or medium, those people are kind of in that risk to get any respiratory infection.
So they don't cough well?
Well, they won't be able to bring out the phlegm or anything that they have inside, bring it out.
Okay.
Right.
Which is an issue.
Right. Yeah, and that's what they're saying. It's kind of affecting the lungs, and when they are not able, they don't have air to breathe in, right? So they don't move the diaphragm to have that air to come in. So diaphragm has to move. Front and back, sideways as well. It's like you would have heard about the 3D breathing. So it's not just the one-way breathing. It has to go front and back as well as to the side as well, and diagonal. So they have to have that movement in the diaphragm. A lot of people, let alone not in this crisis, not just in this crisis, the people who are in wheelchair bound, or the people who are not moving that much, like mobility wise, they're affected.
So are some of our seniors, our frail elderly, who are at risk from the COVID-19
as well.
So they're doubly at risk when
doubly at risk, exactly. Okay. So without this crisis itself, I always start my session with the breathing technique. Now with this, it is a must. You have no choice. Let me put that in another way, meaning you don't have a day to slack. Sometimes they say they forget. Say it's okay, get back. Now I cannot say that. You really don't have a day of slack. 7 out of 7 days we want.
You have to practice good breathing.
Yes.
Now, what does that mean, though?
Yes. So yes, we are all breathing. Not that anybody's not. We're all breathing, but are we breathing the right technique is the main point. Right, because most of my people, when I see them, this what we call a shallow breathing happens. I ask them to put one hand on the chest, one hand on the tummy, and I ask them to see which hand is coming up when they are breathing in. Some of them I see it's more like chest hand coming up.
So
top half is coming up, right? So yes, the chest has to expand, but it's the lower chest, definitely not my upper chest. So that's something I don't want to see in anyone, right? So if the upper chest is coming up, it's shallow breathing, which means you're not moving your diaphragm, which is right over here.
So how do they fix that?
How do they fix that? So a lot of people say, oh, I've been breathing. I'm not saying you're not breathing. You're breathing. It's not the right technique. That's not going to help you. So the diaphragm has to move. So it moves. When you breathe in air, air fills the lungs expand, diaphragm has to descend, then the tummy comes out. This is what happens.
So it's okay to have a bulgy tummy when you're breathing well.
It is okay.
That's a good thing.
It
then.
is a good thing. You don't have to push your tummy,
No,
but at least
it will come.
out. That's
Yeah.
what happens. So when I breathe in, so respiration, as I said, has two components: inspiratory phase and an expiratory phase. Then, of course, everybody knows this. You're going to breathe in and breathe out.
Yeah.
So pretty much when we are talking, it's the breath out phase.
Yeah.
A lot of people are okay with that. It's the inspiratory phase that we kind of get stuck.
So it's drawing that air in.
Trying that air in
Yeah.
through the nose. Yes, some people you can say, yes, I have sinus difficulty, like, you know,
Yes.
but you can always practice little by little, like, you know, there are sinus drainage that they do, or even if you have steam inhale. So take care of the sinus. I'm not saying if there is a sinus issue, but there will be some breath that you will be able to take it through your nostrils. Work at it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've also heard people saying, I've been working for ages, it's not coming. Yes, you've been working, but did you try it with the awareness of the consciousness? And did you try the correct technique?
Yeah.
Like, you can always ask your therapist,
Yeah.
you know, a physiotherapist, massage therapist, or doctors, like, they'll be able to explain that.
Yeah.
Try to learn the right technique. Ask them to assess them your technique and then see if it is correct. Great. If you're correct, great, go ahead with it. But if it's not, change it. And with neuroplasticity, definitely they'll be able to change it if they put conscious effort and practice it often.
So for our viewing audience, if right now they're at home
Yes.
watching, hopefully,
Yes.
can you demonstrate how they could even start to think or practice this at home, recognizing, you know, they can't get out?
Yes.
What can they do to try and get that diaphragm working?
out. So again, the very simple thing is first check what you're doing. You
Yes.
need to know what your body is doing before you make that change.
Yeah.
So put one hand on the chest, one hand on your tummy.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wouldn't sit reclined like this. Sit a little bit more straight,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then I just want you to inhale, like in through your nose and out through your nose as well.
So in and out through my nose.
Yes, in and out through my nose. So this is quiet breathing. You know, when you're active doing like exercise and stuff,
Yeah.
yes, we do the pursed lip breathing,
Yeah.
which is like breathing out through the mouth, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you're doing the quiet breathing, let's practice in and out through the nose itself, because if it's otherwise, they would have taught you when you were young.
Gotcha.
Nobody taught you to breathe out through your mouth when you were young.
True.
That's not normal.
No. So
Right?
in and out through
in
the
and
nose.
out through the nose, and then just see which one comes up.
Right.
So I'm going to demonstrate the
Sure.
wrong pattern first.
Yes.
So it's like
Yep.
my chest coming up
Yep.
with the
So
breath in.
The
Yes.
hand at the top is
Top.
moving more.
Yes,
Yep.
we don't want that. We just want to, so think like, just give a little cue to yourself, press it down, and then
Yeah.
think there is a straw, and the straw is straight coming down to your tummy, and think of pushing the tummy out when you, not pushing, sorry, I take my words back, kind of bringing the tummy out, don't
Yeah.
push.
Yeah.
Bringing the tummy out while you breathe in. So
Yeah.
that's your abdominal
So the
breathing.
top hand stabilizes,
Stabilizes.
and the other is the one that actually should have some movement.
Some movement.
But you don't want
No.
forward and back. It
Backward.
should be from the breath.
From the breath.
Gotcha.
And it shouldn't be a push either. Like
Gotcha.
sometimes I've kind of taught them that as a dirty trick when they don't get it. They say, how come I'm not getting it? I said, you don't get it because you never showed it that way to the brain.
Sure.
It's not that you won't get it. And you don't
the
have
brain's learning.
Brain is learning. And there is neuroplasticity, they said.
Yeah.
So you cannot give me that thing that says, oh, I'm an old dog, you cannot teach me new trick. No, you can.
You can.
Yes.
You can learn.
You can learn. As long as you're able to put that conscious thought to make that change, you
Yeah.
can learn.
So if I've practiced at home, and you would encourage people to try this, right?
Yes, definitely.
So now I've got the right technique, I think. Should I practice this often? How many breaths should I take? Well, you know, how can I try and keep my lungs clear?
So pretty much, Carol, one thing is getting the right technique. And the neuroplasticity really works if you pay attention to what you're doing. And the
Yes.
second concept to that is consistency.
Okay.
So I don't want you to do breathing just in morning for 5 minutes and then evening for 5 minutes and then do the other 23 and a half hours the wrong way.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's not going to work that way.
Okay.
Right? So you have to put that conscious effort. So of course, you know, now yes, we are all home, but then when we are kind of going into work and stuff, or if you're going out anywhere, I usually tell people if you're a person who is driving or you have to take a longer drive to drive in the car, I tell them to put something on the steering wheel. Like just a little red stick or dot or something like that. Whenever you see that, you just practice your breath. A red light can be your breath practice. Or if you're a passenger, you can always practice that. Or say you're a person sitting in front of your computer for a long time, put some sticker or any picture that your kid drew or your grandkids drew, something like that in the top right corner. Every time you see that picture, practice.
So be mindful.
Be mindful, that's all.
So if I was a senior at home or someone who was not well, or we're all really in home more than we're out, if I was watching TV, I could practice every commercial, right?
Every commercial, perfect. That
would get lots of practice.
Definitely, right?
Or every time a show changed.
And then this is just for that 2 weeks. Maybe some people will take 14 days. Another set of people who are having difficult time will get it in 28 days. But everyone will get it if they are putting their mind to it.
So it takes time, days and days of repeating.
Yes. So in that way, if you're doing it in the right way, you will get it. I don't think there is another reason why you won't get it, because this is just simple mechanics, right? If you're going to work at it, it will come, unless and until you really have a problem. So this is where we need to talk about the people who have impaired movement, meaning the diaphragm is not moving that much because of a spinal cord injury that they have, or they already have chronic lung issues like asthma, emphysema, asthma, COPD, anything that they have, that somehow the movement in the lung is restricted. In that case, then again, it's a different story. Then that time, they really need to do some assistance breathing, or practice a little bit more other types of breathing that we have to do.
So they would put their hands in a different position, I saw you.
So first do this, you get the pattern. Now remember, diaphragm kind of extends and it also goes here. So the other way that you could also do is just be here, and then as you breathe in, the ribs should go away from you, and as you breathe out, the ribs should come towards you. So you can kind of feel that, or cue yourself, like, just yourself.
So you breathe to where your hands are?
Yes, pretty much. That's why I want it lower. I'm not keeping it here, I'm keeping it lower.
So this would be good for people to practice.
Yes.
All of the time, as you mentioned, or often. So I'm sure you're going to talk about those people who get an infection or maybe start to feel they're in difficulty. What should they do? So
now coming to the people, like say they're affected or they have phlegm or anything like that, right? Then there is phlegm, we want to bring out the cough as well, right? So the first thing is, even if you have cough, yes, as much as you're going through it, your caregiver, whoever is taking care of them, also has to, take care of themselves as well as take care of the person who is affected. So just like a courtesy, we really request all clients, if they ever develop a cough, to always turn away from the caregivers. Yes, everybody is following, but this is just a reminder that they would do that. And also with the cough strength, sometimes I find people, if they are practicing cough to bring out phlegm, they kind of do it like this. Right?
And what should they do?
So over here, posture is also important. So remember, you're kind of making it more like this. Or say you're a person, you've kind of not moved that much, or you're kind of being more kyphotic. What we say is like a little bit of a hump over there, right? Or if you're having more like this, spending time more in a chair, then those people, I usually suggest scoot yourself forward a little bit over here, like, half the way in the sofa recliner or the wheelchair that you have, and then practice bringing, I'm not telling to bring the chest up like that, it's more so bringing shoulders back, and you can also open up a little, and then you can have, sometimes there are therabands, but say you don't have anything like that, just think you're stretching out a band like this. That'll kind of give you that cue.
Open up the rib cage.
Exactly.
Now I just want to go back. So you're talking about, when you were talking about the caregivers and the courtesy, and so coughing, to make sure you cough away. Or obviously if you're producing phlegm. To use a Kleenex or whatever. So when people are congested or they
Yes.
think they're getting congested, your recommendation is to change your body posture to allow as much openness in the chest.
So if there is congestion, the first, I know we've talked about breath, but if there is congestion, then you have to think about add posture to that as well.
Right. Okay.
Right? So you have to think about the posture so that you can kind of help it clear. And if you're
Okay.
sitting, right? And sometimes, say there is congestion, we call it as pooling in the morning. Preferably laying to the side is better because pooling can come easily.
So people who say, you know, I cough a lot
Hot.
first thing after a night's sleep, that's because it's collected there?
Collecting a lot in the lower. So, but if they turn to one side, hopefully they'll be able to turn to one side and be there. It's easier for them so that, you know, it kind of comes into one lung and then they'll be able to cough it out a little bit easier.
So changing position
is
so
important.
sitting up is not always the best?
Yes.
Okay.
And even being on the back is not always the best. Kind of, you know, turning a little bit and then having the head a little bit higher. I'm not saying to put too many pillows to bring you into
Right.
flexion. So it's a moderate thing. But again, your therapist take advice accordingly,
Yes.
and they'll be able to guide you. But follow these instructions.
Yeah.
These little things matters.
Yeah. So we have about 6 or 7 minutes in the program, and I don't want to miss the resilience part. So can we move on to that?
Sure,
And then if you think of
definitely.
anything we haven't covered in the other,
Yes,
let's go back to that.
No, that's pretty much for the respiration part. And just one final thing in that is, see, inspiration, you know, you always heard inspiration talks as well, right? Inspiration is also related to that mental health. So I think it was devised by the Greek first. So inspiration is also related to the mental health. So think of
Breathing is important.
important,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
inspirational. And you always want inspirational talks, especially amidst crisis like this, right?
For sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it works both ways.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the inspiration part. Now coming to the resilience part. So resilience is pretty much, you know, I kind of also got some workable explanation for that as well. So basically what they say is resilience is generally thought of a positive adaptation after a stressful or adverse situation.
That we're in now.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes normally I work on resilience for all my people with spinal cord injury. Like, you know they won't be able to stand, or, you know, they're kind of bound for a wheelchair. So I always work it into them. But now I think it's for everyone in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So we have to cope with some humor as well. And then because we are all going to come out, we have, as human beings, we have learned a lot of lessons from our past mistakes. Like even the bird flu that they had, they said, okay, this is all we did, this didn't work, that worked.
Yeah.
We are also learning from the current trend, meaning what's happening in Italy, we know now, and we are putting things aside, and we are following protocols. And we also had a good news today that the epicenter didn't have any new cases to be reported.
Which is wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So we know we're going to come out of it. But while we are going to come out of it, we have to really work on being resilient in this.
Yeah.
And so when we come out with flying colors.
Yes. So
And
how does a person do that?
Yeah. So resilience doesn't mean something that you come in, like, you know, breathing, yes, you automatically do it.
Yes.
Resilience is an integrated adaptation, which means you have to learn
So you really have to put your mind to it.
Yeah, so this is different from neuroplasticity, although we think about that awareness. That one, you already have something and you have to change it. Now you have to develop something as well. Your brain is awesome, it'll adapt. And yes, you're hearing so many things, like, you know, negative things, but then now we also need to know, okay, after we come out of this situation, there will be some important decisions that everybody has to take.
Yes.
You know, be it financial, be it family life, so many things we have to change.
Yeah.
For all that, right now we have to work on being resilient. Now, being resilient means it is physical, mental, as well as emotional.
So do you have strategies to suggest for the whole issue of isolation?
Exactly, right? So yes, it is going to be isolation and social distancing, we're going to say. Say, for example, right now we're going, yes, we're all mindful of being socially distanced. So when you're going out, so when you're going out, you're going to use a keypad or, you know, pen keypad to put in the PIN number for your bank information and stuff. Start carrying a pen or that has a stylo with it. So you can use the stylo.
In other words, don't use your fingers. Don't let your fingers do the walking.
Yes. And nobody, even in an ATM, there's no one standing there to clean or wipe after that. You could take a hand sanitizer, wipe it before you go, but will you wipe it after too? And then right now, the commodity is also becoming scarce.
Yes.
We don't know. Hopefully, we all have something, but then we also have to be considerate for others, so we cannot pile up. So these are some things that we can do.
So anything you touch, you can use a pen or a
stylo.
Yeah. I've heard of people even just using a pencil with a rubber tip.
Yes, that is also okay, and you're kind of containing it to you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So take it with you.
Take it with you. It's just a simple thing, or hang it in your necklace, so you can do that.
Excellent.
Then it's with you, and you're not touching other. And the other thing that you could also do is more so just getting a little wraparound cloth, and then just attached to Velcros. You can just go and put it on the shopping cart, and you could use it. Right?
And then you take it.
The only one thing is you need to have separate ones. You cannot use the same thing to everywhere. So once you go home, put that for wash. Have 5 or 6 in hand.
So you're really not, you don't want to cross-contaminate, which is a fancy word of saying. One at a time.
One at a time, yes. And do you have to wash? Yes, definitely you have to throw that into wash after that.
Yes.
Things like that. So those are some physical things that we want to do, kind of being mindful of, which we wouldn't have thought about before.
No.
But right now, these things can help.
And don't assume it's been wiped off. Take the responsibility yourself.
Yes. That's good. Being considered, as well as you don't want, so you know somebody else. So while we are coming into these new habits, might as well do it properly.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. And so physically, yes, we are blessed with a lot of naturistic scenes around us, and we have a lot of space. So definitely we want to encourage people to step out, get some breath, fresh air as well, and go for walks outside as well. Yes, keeping social distancing in mind.
Yes.
We cannot go as a group, but we could do that. We definitely want to encourage people doing that.
So, because people will need that stimulation.
Exactly.
So just... And if they can't get out, how do they keep physically active?
So say you kind of wheelchair bound, and if you're physically not able to do that, then that's where again you don't have a slack. You have to do your exercises 7 out of 7.
Yeah.
I tell people to change their routine. Don't do the same thing again and again.
Okay, so mix it up?
Yeah, mix it up.
Perfect.
One day when you go in, you shouldn't know. Take minute-to-minute games to play like that, right?
Excellent.
And yes, say nobody is there around, you have your phone, put your timer, you can work, and that is also mentally preparing you. Yes. Warning is one thing, and but then reward is another thing, right?
I can't believe our time is up, Deepha. It is. I always enjoy chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome. I hope it was very helpful.
Very.
Thank you.
I want to also thank you for watching this special edition regarding COVID-19. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of each other. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Merton. I'm the host of HealthLink. HealthLink connects home, community, and healthcare. Please join me for HealthLink on Rogers TV.
Did he do it.
Richard Jewell is an innocent man. He's a hero.
I think your client is guilty as hell.
I report the facts.
You've ruined this man's life.